Hey there, Scorpio Ascendant. This is your Ascendant forecast, taking you on a journey from Monday, the 8th of December, right the way through to the 14th of December on Sunday. Getting close to Christmas now, and all that brings in. So the most notable thing I would say about this week ahead is we are finally coming into the end of that water trine pattern. I mentioned it in last week's forecast. This is just at the beginning of the week. You'll see the grand water trine. We've also got the last of the Uranus oppositions now. Mercury is going to be seeing that last one in. If you, if this has been hitting you hard, this particular opposition, I did actually do a video on it about just over a month ago, like maybe a month and a half ago, because Mercury and Uranus went into a series of oppositions. And so this is the very last one. So this is a time of revelation. This is a time when hopefully whatever it is you've been learning about yourself suddenly becomes really, really obvious. At the same time that happens, Neptune also goes direct. Now, Neptune's been retrograde since the 4th of July. So this is really great. Neptune's going direct on the last degree of the zodiac. So that's also carrying an extra special message as well. And then we've got Mercury going into the sign of Sagittarius. So there's a little bit of movement, and it's kind of letting go of the previous pattern, and then it's opening up the chart for new patterns to come in. So if you're new to this channel, my name's Louisa. Welcome. And what I want to do is just pace you through the week ahead, pointing out all the interesting things along the way and kind of channeling into it and tuning into it, because I'm not so much an astrologer as I am an astrologer and channel. So there we go. I'm using a Western tropical method, by the way, if you're interested. And so as ever, I'm going to start this by bringing up my chart notes. And saying a thank you to everybody that supports the channel in all the various ways that you do, and people in membership, because in doing the membership, it just leads me back to YouTube all the time so I can create more content. Thank you so much. So these are the two charts. This is the first one. You'll see as we start the week, the moon is in the sign of Cancer, right at the top of your chart in the 9th house, about to go into the 10th. And then as we come to the end of the chart, the moon has gone from Cancer all the way round to the 12th house and is getting ready as we go into the following week from the 15th. That moon is going to go into the sign of Scorpio, your first house. So yeah, we're going from the 9th to the 12th house. As you can see here, I've written a list of all the things that I think are most important. As mentioned in the introduction, Neptune going direct is a big one. If you see down here, this is where he is at the start. At the end, he's going to be in exactly the same place, only he's not going to, I don't know if you can see it, there's a tiny, tiny little R at the bottom, at the foot of the symbol for Neptune. By the end of the week, that R has disappeared. So it's very subtle. But the actual ecliptic ring, like the zodiac, it starts at 0 Aries, literally just here, goes all the way around, and the last degree is 29 Pisces. Now, this is a continuous circle. We don't really say that's the beginning and that's the end, as if it doesn't continue. There's always going to be an ending and a beginning of a new story. And so Neptune here is right at the end of his journey through the sign of Pisces. And he will be, his next move will be forwards into 0 Aries on the 26th of January, 2026. And he'll be starting a whole new, bona fide for good, a whole new story. And so this is very significant. Everything to do with your creations. He rules the 5th house. Everything to do with what you're creating in life is going to be stepped up, especially come January. There's going to be a whole new movement and energy for that kind of passion and awareness of yourself. So it's significant. Mercury also going into the sign of Sagittarius by the end of the week is also significant. He's been in your first house. He's given you the mother of all awakenings about yourself and your image and who you are, with that retrograde that's just stopped, which is, thank goodness for that. Now he's going forwards. It feels like you can move forwards. It's really hard to, I liken it to, you get in the car to go somewhere, but you're not quite ready. Like, you haven't got your shoes on, you haven't got your driving glasses or whatever it is that you have. Maybe your handbag's still in the house. and you're thinking, okay, I've just got to get these things sorted out before I can get moving. To me, that's a bit like the retrograde. You can't fully get moving. You might be in the car, you might be almost ready to move, but you're not. There's still a few things you need to do. And so now Mercury's in this position where it feels like, yeah, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I've got my handbag, got my driving glasses, whatever it is. I'm wearing shoes. I can move forwards. And yeah, this week ahead from Monday the 8th, you are absolutely moving forwards and feeling so much more confident about it, especially as he goes into the sign of Sagittarius, which is your second house. And this is about money, resources, what you're bringing in. And so it's like the essence of you and your potential, and it gets realized in the second house. You get thanked for it. People are showing their appreciation for you, so you get some feedback. It feels good. It's the development of self-esteem. So Mercury moving into second is going to be helpful. He's not happy in the sign of Sagittarius particularly. In fact, he's actually in his detriment. Mercury goes round and round in circles in the sign of Sagittarius, but the message does come out. It's just not in a pure Gemini or Virgo way, which is they're the signs that Mercury rules. But anyway, you will be coming into a much stronger feeling about yourself, that's building on your self-esteem. It's good. So anyway, let's kind of go into it. So as you can see in my natal chart, I've got Mercury in Sagittarius. I go round and round and round, like describing the picture, and then go round again. Anyway, so Mercury is going into the sign of Leo on the 8th, early on in the 8th. And as he does that, your attention is absolutely focused on your career, and on like the goodies you're supplying in the world, how people see you from that perspective. It's quite an upbeat position. It's highly visible. It's not a time to have a temper tantrum, in public. This is a time to really show yourself in your best light. This is a time when you feel really quite magnificent and starry-eyed, and people are appreciating you. It's great. This is really showing you your true value, I think, in it's a little bit like you're a celebrity of some sort, in the 10th house. Like you get shown your value here, but up here you get shown your value and kind of lifted up a little bit, lifted up in status, potentially. So if you're on the right track, the 8th to the 10th should be quite helpful. Now, before that, you'll see that we've got this lovely ground water trine. By the end of this, you'll see that trine is, whoa, where's it gone? Where's that one gone? So we are moving out of that pattern. On the 9th, which is Tuesday, there's a bit of a challenging energy going from your second house to your 5th house. So this is Mars in your second house. This is your self-esteem, the action you're taking to move forwards. And it feels a bit stilted. It's something that you're creating, and it feels like you're up against a barrier. Is it that you're up against time? Have you got enough time? Have you left enough time for yourself? Who knows? But it feels like you can't move as fast as you want to. And you might find that people around you are kind of pushing at you. If you've got children and responsibilities, they can really weigh heavy on you on that day. Just be mindful that you don't lose your composure. The moon is still up here during that time. And if you start to lose faith in yourself and think, I can never do it right, and if you start into a load of judgment, you'll be seen for that judgment. So don't let that like slight downward feeling, or that slowing, that cessation of your energy translate into something much bigger. Like, it's so easy to blow it out of proportion, but if anything, if you can weather that and just think, okay, today doesn't look like a day when I'm going to achieve so much. I might actually just do something for myself. I might just be creative, but without an aim. Like, if you're creative with an outcome, I think this could be quite a challenging day. But if you don't have an outcome and you just think, I'm going to enjoy myself a bit, and see what comes up, that's much better for you, because you're less likely to be down on yourself, And then on Wednesday, the 10th, the moon is coming into the sign of Virgo, and it's going to be there for 2 days. During this time, there's a lot happening. So the moon in the 11th house brings up a sense of networking and sharing, and like friends of friends connecting. It's quite a good moment of goodwill to each other. During this time, however, you've got the very last of the Mercury oppositions. So Mercury is just in your 7th house, and Uranus is in your 7th house and Mercury's in your 1st. Anywhere where you feel challenged by the people around you, like they're throwing a last minute surprise into your life, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Oh God, that's so frustrating. Do not be surprised if your carefully laid plans around the 10th and the 11th just get slightly derailed. It's important, again, not to take it too seriously and think, God damn it. Sorry. Nothing ever works. If you have that mindset, it's going to catastrophize. Again, you don't want it catastrophized. The moon is highlighting all this like highly social stuff where you're getting a lot of support from people. So try not to get catastrophized, but get into the energy of spontaneity as much as you can, where it just feels, okay, that happened. It's obviously not for my highest good at the moment. Something better must be about to happen. And if you can hold that thought, I absolutely wholeheartedly believe, if you're asking, well, something better must be just around the corner. Something amazing is about to happen that I just can't see yet. If you hold on to that really beautifully, I think, these kinds of oppositions or hard aspects, with Uranus, with the right attitude, can bring in a beautiful spontaneous leap forwards. Now, at the same time, Venus now is in a square to the nodes, reminding you that your vision and your value for yourself is yours alone. And all the time that you've accepted your value based on how collaborative you've been and how much support and how many people you've got cheerleading you, that's not actually going to help you to develop yourself. For you to develop yourself, you absolutely need to know that you've got the confidence and you believe in yourself. If your belief in yourself is based on everyone supporting you and saying, yeah, you're not really doing it for yourself. And I think that's one of the things that you're learning at the moment. So you might get a smidge of that coming in on the 11th. That's Thursday. And then the other movement on Thursday, Mercury goes into Sagittarius. And so everything to do with your value is coming up. So you might choose to create a new story about yourself, a story that takes the energy of people love what I do and that lifts me up, to I love what I do, and because of that people can feel my energy. That's a very subtle but very powerful difference, right? So yeah, I think the 10th to the 11th is really recoding your relationship to others, and the chances are you will still get tons of support, but it is really important that you support yourself ahead of time. And then as we're coming to the end of the week, we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The moon goes into the 12th house. And this is a time when you want to take your foot off the gas a bit, just relax a little bit. You're not feeling particularly social. You're just wanting to ease into the weekend. Saturday, there's Mercury in a sextile to Pluto, which I love. I think this is going to be great. I'm just going to move my chart on so you can see it a bit clearly. So Mercury in a sextile to Pluto, I think, is helping you have deep insight about what it is you do and what your value is. Maybe there's some new insight about receiving more money that can really help you at home. So I just think you're feeling a lot more secure at home, which is great. There's something opening up for you. And then finally on Sunday, there's two aspects. Now, one of them I think could feel really like the wind has come out of your sails, but the other one's going to lift you up. And they're kind of happening just one after the other. And so the first one is Mars in a square to Saturn. Mars in an exact square to Neptune. You might find that your energy drops and you feel a bit disillusioned, disenchanted, and think, oh my God, I was so certain. I felt so confident. Now where's it gone? It's like, where's my energy gone? Ah! And then you might catastrophize and think this is your new truth. But it's really not. It's just you're having a bad day. The energy's dipped. You're not quite sure. Your sense of direction is just like come off. I think this might be something that a lot of people right now are working with, and that is you've either got the energy or you haven't. And when you've got the energy, move forwards. When you don't have the energy, a lot, historically, I know when I haven't felt 100% in the direction I'm going, I faltered. I've made it mean something. I've made it mean I'm not committed enough. I'm not determined enough. I'm not talented enough. I can, there's dozens of words I could apply to myself where I'm running myself down somehow because I'm not feeling 100% pumped in the direction I'm going in. But when I come back into that alignment again and everything clicks into place, like one of those locks, with all these different, like a barrel lock, all these different numbers, all of a sudden it all clicks in, the lock opens and the energy just shoots forwards and I achieve so much more. And so I think right now, and in particular on Sunday, the 14th, just bear in mind, you're either feeling the energy and in which case move with it. But if you're not feeling the energy, why stay in the battle of trying to regain it? Why not just put your focus into something else that you can feel 100% about? Because actually, if you're feeling 100% motivated on something, even if it's not the thing that you want to achieve, that is keeping your body in the flow, warm, beating heart, in the flow of your manifestation. That's much more powerful than feeling it, then not feeling it, feeling it, then not feeling it. So stay in the flow. You might just have to change what you're looking at, but you move in that new direction and all of a sudden you're warmed up and you stay. So just have a few things ready. Be more flexible with this. Mars is your ruling planet or one of your ruling planets. So that's why it's so important. Like with a Mars raised, a Mars ruled person, stay in where you feel passionate. Now, straight after that as well, and this I think will give you heart. The sun in the second house goes into an exact trine with Chiron in the sixth. To me, this is a beautiful opening. This is vulnerability as the medicine. The sun and Chiron in a trine is healing through everything, like healing but not hiding. Oh, I like that. I want to write that down. Hang on, let me just healing but not hiding. I need to remember that. I'll find it on my hand in a minute. Healing but not hiding. So you're healing in public, like you're not hiding what's going on. You're absolutely open. You're saying, okay, well, I felt like I was ready to go. Then all of a sudden the energy dropped and this is the story I made up, but then I learned this. And that recognition of the healing that you're on is really powerful. And so don't miss that opportunity on Sunday the 14th. Like reflect on what you've learned and reflect on it really openly so you can see the truth of it and not the fantasy. That clarity that comes forward is so powerful. And of course, the following week, the moon's going to be in your first house. And then I'm pretty sure you're going to feel really motivated once again. So that brings us to the end of this particular week from the 8th to the 14th. And if you like the passion and the energy that I'm examining these charts by, can you imagine what it would be like if I actually had your chart in front of me, you and me, and we're chatting in a one-to-one conversation? So yeah, I mean, if you want more of this and more personalized, I've got some places for an astrological mentorship in the year ahead where we can learn together, you and me, in a monthly session. Maybe set an intention for the year ahead and we work on it, or you work on it and I'm examining your chart, we're examining it together from multiple different angles. Or if you don't want to go full in but you want to learn and you want to have a few more forecasts, then I've got a membership, a sort of community on School. That's SKOOL.com, where there's Monday to Friday forecasts. There's also a love and a career forecast every week for all 12 signs. It's quite a lot in itself. And I'm also putting on lessons from January 2026 where you can rock up with your chart and we can take it from there. So there's lots of different ways to learn more. And yeah, I wish you a beautiful week ahead. Really do hope that you feel the passion, and when you don't, you just turn your attentions to the next passion that's coming up. So you stay riding on that beautiful Mars flow. Have a good one and hopefully catch up with you real soon. Bye for now.